What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Poor Man's Guide to Building a Food Truck. In today's video, we're going to be talking about part 2 of the plumbing, which you can see right behind me there, following on from part 1. But before we get into this one, guys, just want to say thank you so much for the support once again. We're about to hit 600 subscribers on the channel, which is amazing. So keep hitting that subscribe button, keep sharing, check out the Instagram page, Poor Man's Food Truck, TikTok page, Poor Man's Food Truck. And for the start of this one, like I promised in part 1, it was going to run a full system test. Now that we have everything installed apart from the hot water. So we're going to get into that right now. Alright guys, so like we said in the last video, we're going to go ahead and run a full system test. So you guys can see that everything flows downhill, everything runs how it should, water pump is good, and all that good stuff. So let's get into that right now. Freshwater tank is 3/4 full. And all we're going to do is just switch it on, run some water, let it go through the back drain, and then show you guys the drainage system. So let's get into it. Alright, I'm just going to fill each compartment first, along with the hand sink. We'll fill them up. So you can see right here, the faucet reaches all 3 compartments nicely. We have the plugs in there right now, so we're just going to let those drains fill up. Same with the hand sink. We'll let that fill. We'll switch this one off. And underneath, you guys can see we've got no leaks from before. Everything's sealed nice and tight. So when we open these drains, you'll see we've got nothing coming out the bottom as well. Alright, just switch everything off. Now remember, we don't have the hot water hooked up yet. That's going to be coming after we get the propane done. So this is just cold water for now. But we just want to give you guys a test for the second part of the plumbing. So let's go ahead and empty these drains. 1, 2, and 3. Right, we've got everything now running into the back drain. And let's go ahead and let the water out of the hand sink. And there we go, guys. You can see we've got no leaks still, so good. And then down here, so now we have everything flowed into that back tank. We have our Valterra gate valves installed, so now all we have to do is just lift up this, and there's our grey water. So success. All right guys, so we're going to start off with the faucet, which this is an 8-inch faucet. You're kind of fortunate because if you decide to go with this setup, it doesn't need to reach as far. So an 8-inch actually reaches all 3 compartments perfectly fine. This was $60 from Amazon. I will put a link in the description for it. That is first step. So what you'll find is that actually, in order to get it to fit nice and snug into the holes, which these are 8 inches apart, by the way, 8 inches between these 2 holes, what you have to do is improvise a little bit with some washers. Here's what I've gone with, and it works pretty well. We've got a I believe this is a 5/8 washer, which I picked up from Ace. It's kind of thick. This is what will be going on the back side. I think this is a 7/8, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. This would actually be going on the back. Excuse me. This will be going on the back of whatever you would call this. I guess the wall mount. That's going to be going on the back of there to give it a nice snug fit. And then to go from the faucet itself through to the PEX fitting, which is right there, we're going to be using a 1/2-inch nipple. Which that is that right there. That's going to go from the faucet to the PEX fitting, which is going to go straight down. So just to recap, you've got, I want to say this is a 5/8 washer from Ace, I think it's a 7/8, I don't know, but I'll try and find it and put it in the description. And then we've got 2 1/2-inch nipples or unions, whatever you want to call them. Those will be going through to get the fitting. It's kind of nice to have this 4-inch gap right here now because I got plenty of room to work with. So that's going to be the first step, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's fully mounted right now. And then one thing I did do before going ahead and getting it all installed, you can see I got my thread seal right there around the 1/2-inch nipples, is I just went ahead and installed the PEX fittings to the elbows right away. I figured it'd be a little bit easy to do it that way, so let's go ahead and get this all put together. All right guys, so here's what we got. Excuse my mess, because I do have a mess going on, but the faucet is hooked up. You can see it's got a nice solid seal, because when it's bouncing down the road, you don't want this thing jumping around. And on the back side, just try and show you real quick, you got that's that large washer that I picked up from Ace right there with our 90-degree elbow straight down. You can see the PEX running the cold water right there from the water pump, and then straight back up. We've got our thread lock on those nipples, but you can see, because what was happening was when you put this directly to the sink, it still kind of shakes around. So this washer, and I will try and find the size for you guys, I really just can't remember. What I did was I just took everything with me. I took the faucet and all my PEX fittings and stuff. I took it to Ace with me and just went through and tried to see which one would work best. So that's it right there. And I also just hooked up the 2 hoses, the water input hose and then the air relief or air, whatever you want to call it, hose, to make sure that the water goes in there nicely. So all right guys, so this is the size of the washers on the back side, 7/8 at Ace Hardware. That's what we use for the back side, 7/8. Okay guys, just a real quick update. We changed the plan a little bit. So what I had to do was actually add 2 of those 7/8 washers on the back. What happened was the nipples that I had used originally, I think they were just a little short. So the PEX fitting wasn't grabbing enough thread because it is leaking when I just did that test. So what we've done is just bought some longer nipples. You can see it sticking out right here. We bought some longer ones so that this can grab more of the threads. We've put a little 1/2-inch lock nut on there right there with the 2 washers, which we just showed you from Ace. And hopefully this should give us a better seal and prevent it from leaking again. So just a quick update right there. And moving on to the drains, guys. So we got the first hole cut right here. All we used was a hole saw. Actually picked this up from Harbor Freight. It's a whole set of 10, but it has the 2 1/4-inch one, which obviously we have on the end of the drill right now. It was actually pretty scary drilling through there. So we got the first one done. The second one's gonna be going right next to it, and that should be, I'll give you an example here, a nice size. Let me take this apart real quick. So you can see we have our elbow right here, and it fits in there nice and snug. So that's where we're going to be draining the fresh tank, and the gray water tank is going to be right next to it. And dry fit is all good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in once again with our 1-step PVC cement. We're going to throw this all over there. We're going to put it on that that PVC pipe right there, which is right around 5.5 inches, I want to say, and then on our elbow, which is going to be going straight underneath the trailer. You can see the grass right there. That's going to be our next step. Let it set, and then we can move on to the next stage. So we got a little bit of a tough spot right here. We got the fresh water drain is good to go. You can see that's where it's going to be draining out right here as soon as we get the valves, the gate valves that come in. But this gray water tank, which is back there, the problem that I got is, for one, you can kind of see that pilot hole right there. Right there, looks like we're going to cut into that beam maybe about 1.5 inches or so, something like that. And then also once that comes down, the drain is actually going to fall right on top of this frame of the trailer. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to go and just reroute it back underneath and then back this way, so it's going to come out of the same spot as this one, so it looks symmetrical. So it's just a little bit extra work, but I thought I'd add that in there in case you guys have a similar trailer setup. That's what I'm going to have to do. So now that that gray water tank is complete, we got that hole drilled, and I'll just show you what I mean. So right there you can see we took maybe 3/4 of an inch into that steel frame, so nothing too crazy. Didn't want to, but didn't really have much of a choice. And you can see right there, there's the PVC coming down. What I used to cut through that was this hole dozer by Milwaukee. This one was actually recommended by Frank Baltieras. Did a really nice job, went through super smooth, but it was pretty expensive. It was like about 20 bucks for just that one size. So next we're going to start running that PVC down, so let's get into that now. So then, just to show you guys what I was talking about, I'm sorry about the camera because it's kind of tough, but you can see this one is no problem, just comes straight down. And then right there, but this one, so we rerouted it so it comes down, you got elbow, elbow, and then a third elbow right there to bring it around. Let me see if I can get into the trailer and actually show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So right there you can see we just had to work our way around that beam to make sure that we get a good downhill flow. So nothing too crazy. So last thing for us to really complete today is going to be connecting the hose, sorry, the water hose and the air hose to the I don't know what you call it, the fill cap, I guess you could say. This I bought from Amazon, made by Valterra. I will leave a link in the description. I got it in black because my trailer is, you know, black, but you can get them in white as well. But this is basically going to be gravity fed, so we're going to have it, you know, right around here. We'll drill the hole on the outside, and you know, we have a downhill flow from there into the freshwater tank. So that's really going to be the last part of the plumbing until we get into the propane. So let's go ahead and let's get this done. So first thing we've done in order to get that fill cap in is I just drilled a pilot hole right here because I'm kind of crowded in this corner now, so I want to make sure that everything fits nicely. So got a pilot hole right there, and then I will go through it with my hole dozers, which I have kind of lying around everywhere. We're going to use a big 3 5/8 to drill on the outside, and then that's big enough to hold that cap. And then we're going to do 2 smaller ones on the inside, so it's not a big gaping hole right there. But first step is pilot hole, which you can see it right there. That's going to give us our spot. And just be super careful, guys. As you can see, I've got actually one of my electrical lines running right here. There's no stud or anything, but I have a side marker wiring running right here too. So just when you're drilling out this hole, just be extra careful. Try not to go too deep with it because you never know what's behind there. Make sure you're not going through a stud, all that kind of good stuff. But as you can see, I've got one of my Romex running right here, so just take extra care. And there it is, guys. We got our water intake hose right there. We've got our air release hose right there, and we have this nice and snug on the side of the trailer. All we have to do is just silicone around here, make sure it's nice and tight. We don't want any water getting in there, and that should about sum it up for right now, guys. There we go. And last step, guys, is we're going to put our gate valves on here. These are actually 2 separate pieces. You can see right here, you've got the gate valve and then the little nozzle. I'll leave a link in the description form for you, but these were recommended again by Frank Baltieras. The last thing is to get these attached to, we'll have one more piece of PVC pipe coming out there, and they're just going to sit, you know, right around here so that we can drain the water. And that's going to be it. And that's going to be everything for this video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them right below. Everything I've used here today, I'm going to leave in the description for you. Once again, thank you so much for the support. Go ahead and subscribe. Check out the Instagram page. Check out the TikTok page. And until next time, thanks very much.